Hello and welcome to a brand new show of Rendezvous, and this is the Christmas special. We are coming from Goa. We are not here to party, we are here to work, but we certainly want you to party. And the shareholders of IHCL, I'm sure they are having a good party considering where the stock price of IHCL is done. And for any shareholder, when you talk about IHCL, the party is never complete till the time the real piper of the party, which is creating shareholder value, Puneet Chhatwal, is not part of the show. So let me now invite him on our frame and first wish him Merry Christmas and brilliant and great greetings for coming here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikunj. Thank you.
We are not partying here, but we want everybody else to party in Goa, right?
I'm doing always a bit of both.
And this has been a year where shareholders are certainly partying of IHCL.
I hope so. I hope they are happy and pleased. But we are very pleased with the performance, and I remain very confident about the next several quarters, not just 1 or 2 quarters, I think several years. It's the beginning of a great story for hospitality. So hospitality will be scripting a new narrative for the growth of GDP in India together with the tourism sector, the growth of jobs, both direct, indirect, organized or unorganized sector. So I think this is one of those impacts which you get when an economy becomes number 5, might become number 4 next year, and hopefully 27 or 2030 the number 3 in the world.
We've always called the hospitality industry as a cyclical industry. But do you think in India now it has reached a critical mass, and when you reach that critical mass, everything starts moving, everything starts rolling, everything starts picking up? Have you reached that critical mass now?
I would say that the cyclicality in the sector has been there, is there, and will be there. There is one factor which has changed, that is the demand is outpacing supply by not 100 or 200 basis points, but maybe 400 or 500 basis points. But when you get into the granularity of supply versus demand, the supply is coming in newer markets. So in the mature markets, the top 10 markets of India, the supply growth is still limited, and the growth of demand generators is very, very nice for the sector. For example, all these MICE destinations we have spoken about previously, the Bharat Mandapam, the Yashobhumi, the Geo, and many more that are coming, they are inducing new demand which was not existent before. So I think all in all, that is the main factor which is diluting the impact of cyclicality. That's one. From our point of view, our focus on a heterogeneous nature of India with a multi-brand concept, we are able to speak to different segments. So it is also making sure that the volatility in our sector is reduced, especially in our portfolio is reduced. And finally is the change in the business model. From an owner-operator to finding that sweet spot between asset heavy and asset light, so that the asset heavy, which gives you the operating leverage that keeps increasing in absolute amounts, and the asset light gives you the margin expansion. So I think the culmination of these 3 factors is really helping us.
Is this year's Christmas season better than last year? If it is, by how much?
See, for us with such a strong not like for like growth, it has to be better.
Because you're adding more rooms.
We are adding more rooms, we're adding more brands, we're adding more businesses. So firstly, demand is strong. On top of that, our not like for like growth is strong. And Q3, is the best and the strongest quarter that we have always had in the sector.
I'll pick up some words from our last conversation, and you said Indian hotel is in a growth mode. Now we are talking about growth mode after 3 or 4 years of resounding success, at a time when the base has become reasonable, both organically and organically. The hotel room count has gone higher and you've expanded very well. When you say you are in a growth mode, and when it's almost like a forward guidance that I'm young and I'm in a growth mode, define that for us.
Growth of our dots on the map which you said. But in order to get there, you have to first do comprehensive brand management. So we cleaned our brandscape, which is your foundation for growth. And today, it's not just the Taj that is growing. I mean, ginger is growing at a very rapid pace. And in places where normally nobody would have thought it's possible to have ginger, because that was the mindset at that point of time. So homestays, you know, we have spent no money. There is no investment in homestays.
Is it a lab experiment, or you think you can scale it up and it could become big?
We are 250 odd in the last 4 years or 5 years, despite 2 years of COVID, and of which 125 are operational. So the question is, when do we get to 500, 700, 1000?
It is achievable.
Absolutely achievable. That also provides growth. Growth also comes through various F&B brands. So cumin, that was launched as home delivery, yesterday opened at the Chennai International Airport together with TFS. So, you know, tying up with TFS, tying up with West Side, for an example, within the group, and creating that group synergies. So, and as all-day diner for all Ginger hotels, cumin, it's a very nice evolution. So we went from the 3R strategy to the 3 E's. 3R was relevant for Aspiration 2022 and Ahvan, and 3E is more relevant for the Accelerate 2030, which you said, where we'll have given certain guidance on what all metrics we are able to achieve. But most important E within those 3 E's was, is, and remains excellence. Excellence in doing what we do.
But when would you be ready to take the Taj brand out in a significant manner? Right now, the presence is limited. It is restricted. You acquired few assets in Germany, close to your house, Frankfurt, but those are very small. I think they are at an experimental stage. When would you be ready to take that leap of faith that, okay, I'm ready, I understand international market, I've got experience, I've got a balance sheet which is ready, and for me, I need to now really add that growth frontier. Are you thinking on those lines?
I think at the moment, or in the short term, we are looking at very few opportunistic assets, whether it's Singapore or it's something in Switzerland or small. You know, I think there is enough happening on our home front, and we should not make the error which happened by default, because in hindsight we are all smarter. In 2004, 5, 6, 7, we just went global. And the action was also happening in India. We neglected at that point our own home front. So let's put it this way, our focus on 85 to 90% of our growth would be on our home territory, our home market, where we are very strong and our brands are very strong. And the remainder would be selective growth outside of India. I actually feel that the hospitality industry is also going through this evolution. They will realize that flag planting does not necessarily create value. And today, at least as far as Indian hotels is concerned, the value creation per room is the benchmark in the world today. We are number one among management and branded companies. So when you get scale, and that too using franchise as a medium of growth, you can get scale, but not necessarily value creation.
When we had a similar conversation same time last year, you said it's religious tourism. That is something you were very excited about. 2022, when we had this conversation, you said, look, I'm excited about this entire staycation. You were excited about what everybody really spoke about, you only live once, the YOLO crowd. So what is that one feature or that one aha moment for 2025 which you are excited about?
See, the excitement is coming from two fronts. The 3 points that you said. Spiritual tourism is very strong, there to stay, coupled with your traditions, weddings, etc., etc. It's only increasing. It's not decreased. You know, if anybody thought, you know, the world is changing, India is changing, the weddings will become smaller. No, they are becoming only more lavish. So that is there. Staycations is a new way of enjoying extended weekends and breaks, which people are doing. Even living in the same city, they are still checking into hotels. something which started very strongly during the COVID time, or took off during the COVID time. And then what COVID taught us, the YOLO that's also out there. I think the next big thing that is coming for our sector is the utilization of the great conference structures that have been created by the government, like the Bharat Mandapam or the Yashobhumi in Delhi, what has been achieved in Mumbai with the Geo convention. You know, anything big happening in Geo means within 5 square kilometer radius, everything is sold out. It's not just when Coldplay announces the tickets get sold out. The hotel rooms get sold out too. If there is a cricket match happening, it also gets sold out.
So conferences and exhibitions are the two
exhibitions,
new
I
things.
think, is going to come in a very big way. We are still not enjoying the global conferences that happen for 2,000, 3,000 people. That will be the day when a lot starts changing.
You know, 3 years ago, when we were interacting and when we were talking about the hospitality sector, you said, look, it'll stay strong. Trust my judgment. It is not cyclical. This is a long-term trend. There were a lot of naysayers, and those naysayers are telling me the following: oh, I wish we would have heard Mr. Chhatwal that time. हमने तो stock नहीं लिया. What would you tell all those naysayers who did not believe you in 2022 and now they are feeling left out? वो कहते हैं ना, FOMO हो रहा है उनको.
See,
What would you tell
I would
the FOMO?
not like to comment on the
FOMO.
stock and the stock market and all. All I can say is that the sector will be going from strength to strength. It needs a bit of support. The tourism and hospitality sector needs a bit more support from a positioning point of view. There is still that perception that this is luxury. It's not luxury. You know, more than 90% of the supply is in non-luxury business. So it's a very difficult sector in terms of work hours. You work in 3 shifts, you work 24 hours a day and 365 days a year. So I think this sector has waited long enough, 75 years post-independence. Definitely in the last 2 years, things have started changing. And if we get certain positioning, certain advantages, especially in light of the upcoming budget and budget discussions, not in terms of cash, we have never asked for money. It's always been infrastructure status at the center level. A lot of states have joined, but I hope all states and all union territories extend industry status at the state level. Then that is a very big icing on the cake. That would be under the umbrella of, I would say, for hospitality, ease of doing business and creating value proposition, creating jobs, contributing significantly to tourism. Rajasthan is a double-digit story in terms of GDP. It's more than 12% contribution comes through tourism. And why not elsewhere? Every state has something special to offer. That's the beauty of India.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.